What up, everybody? Welcome to Around the Bell. Spencer Israel here, episode 2 of this show. If you don't know by now, it's because we've only done 2 episodes. It's the show where you should take everything we say literally and nothing that we say seriously. A casual show, casual end of day show, right? Casual, fun show. Remember, this entire show is meant to be fun. Meant to be entertaining, not in all seriousness, not meant to be for informational purposes or educational advice or any of that. Please don't take anything we say seriously. This is meant to be fun. It's 6 o'clock on the East Coast. We're done for the day. We're done for the quarter. Q1 in the books. We made it. And this is how we're going to celebrate, by doing Around the Bell. All right, let me introduce our panelists one at a time. I'm going to start in no particular order with Options Mike. Options Mike, what up, sir?
Spencer, how are you, man?
Doing okay. How was your end of Q1?
Green, which is nice, and goodbye, see you, don't come back. March, goodbye, don't want to see March again for a long time, and God, let's just hope April's just different.
All right, by my watch, we'll see it in 11 months, give or take. All right, let's go to panelist number 2, Alex Cutler.
Hey guys, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. The same question: how was your end of the quarter?
It was fine. Had its highs, and then obviously these last 3 months have been absolutely terrible. I'm with Mike there. Please don't come back, please.
All right, Refined Warrior. Wait, where are you in the stream? Good evening.
Hey guys.
How are we doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Same question, same answer?
Pretty much. If it wasn't for Kodak, I would be a lot greener.
All right. And last but not least, the strongest reader of the bunch, dyslexic Drew. Drew, how are we doing today?
Pretty well. It's been 3-4 hours since we've seen each other, but glad to be here.
All right. Here's how the game is gonna work. I've got a scoreboard, I've got a timer, and I've got the score. I'm the scorekeeper, basically. So we're gonna have different categories, different questions. I'm gonna present a topic or an idea. Gonna give each of our panelists 2 minutes to present their case for their answer to my question. I will award points arbitrarily how I see fit. We will eliminate one person after round 1, eliminate a second person after round 2, and then we will find a winner after round 3. There is the scorecard. 2 minutes are on the clock. Everybody's at 0. Let's start this thing. All right, first question of the day is unfortunately maybe the most boring question of the day, but I don't want you to be limited by giving a politically correct answer. Answer whatever you want. Who will be the big winner of President Biden's infrastructure spending plan? Options, Mike, we'll start with you.
God, this is a tough question. Our kids who are going to be paying the tax bill on this until they die? I'm not really sure. What do we got? We got $2 billion coming down the pipe if this gets through, and I strongly suspect this won't go through in its current form. Oh, but not to be outdone, in the next couple of weeks we can announce phase 2. So we may not really actually know who the big winner is, but I'm going to go with infrastructure here, and I'm going to go with building materials. If you really want to think about it, I think names like X, you could look at Cliff, natural resources. If you look at what he has in here, transportation infrastructure, bridges, highways, airports. You have investing in American manufacturing, research development, putting money into building and retrofitting schools and upgrading them, housing. That's the type of stuff where it doesn't matter where the money goes to what particular company. Names like X and Cliff are going to do great. You're going to have a lot of steel going to that. So I think they could really do fabulously here if they go around. And then obviously the biggest winner is going to be Elon Musk. Oh, wait, no, probably not Elon Musk. Elon Musk, probably not. But I think GM and Ford, with the money going into the EV names and the push towards electronic vehicles, these guys are situated to already rule the world, right? They have all the dealerships. They have all the service centers everywhere. And Biden wants to push American manufacturing and American cars into the EV market and force everybody to start moving that way. Well, Ford and GM already are investing into it, and any money going into that and to push American people to start buying it, love them. Love how that'll play out. Elon, I love you, but your tweets a little bit off here and there. You're a little bit over the top at times, and possibly these guys are going to catch up to you at this point.
Points for sarcasm, real knowledge, and a little bit of existential crisis in there. So 5 points. Nice job, Options Mike. Let's go to Alex Cutler, Mr. Cutler. Who will be the big winner of this infrastructure spending plan?
So a lot of things that Mike brought up was substantial, and I think that I do agree across the board. I'm going to focus on one specific sector, is the EV and green energy sector. Obviously, electric vehicles are going to be big, just like General Motors and Ford, how they're transitioning and to electrifying their fleet. I'm also going to add on to the new ones that are coming through for SPACs from the likes of Fisker, Lucid, as well as Electric Lion, you name it. Lion Electric. And then charging points. Biggest one is charging points. So ChargePoint, EVgo, all the ones that deal with charging stations are going to take get a big spike and kind of like a little steroid shot into them. So I can't really add on to it because Mike really stole a lot of the points that I wanted to go into. But really big that green energy sector is going to be taking a big advantage of this infrastructure.
Green energy saving the world. Points for saving the world, Alex Cutler. Nice job. Let's go to Refined Warrior next.
Well, I think it's hard to follow the two of them because they pretty much hit the solid points, but I'd have to agree with that. Also agree that X and Cliffs would definitely continue to get stronger. The EV sector will definitely continue to grow. I think we'll see a lot of new jobs being created because of the push in those areas. So I think one of the biggest areas that will benefit from it is job growth, hopefully. So I would say the biggest winner of this spending plan will probably be the new jobs it will hopefully create. So job growth.
Points for keeping her eye on the real prize, which is about jobs. I like it. Where is your point scoreboard? There we go. Let's go to, last but not least, Dyslexic Drew. Mr. Dyslexic, I should say. Who is going to be the big winner of this plan? That's on me to do.
Yeah, so if you guys know me, you know I like some infrastructure plays out there. Trimble, Bentley, Autodesk. I think these companies are really poised to take over, right? They have that software aspect, a little bit of hardware, and they can really leverage their abilities, right? We got $621 billion coming just in for infrastructure. So I think these kind of software companies are going to have huge potential, right? They're going to see so much money coming in. It doesn't matter if it's going towards schools, if it's going towards highways. All these companies are going to kill it, and they've already done so well, right? Their margins are nice and fat. US Steel X, that company was hot, way ago, right? I haven't seen that thing move maybe double-digit percents, in a while. Sorry, I'm talking about numbers, getting tripped over them a little bit here and there. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. I know building materials is at an all-time high already, right? You look at wood prices. It's so insane to build a house today. Building new homes is more expensive than ever before. So, those commodities probably will do well, get bidded up a little bit more, but I'm not a fan of buying at the high. I like to buy low, but I think those software plays are going to be nice.
Dyslexic Drew, bringing the knowledge, continuing to prove his mother wrong in the process. Very nice job, Drew. Let's move on to question number 2. Jeff Lowe, a.k.a. the former business partner of Joe Exotic, a.k.a. the really creepy guy, or no, there are many. One of the creepy guys from Tiger King, a.k.a. the guy you would not want to meet, definitely not want to meet in an alley, is launching a non-fungible token collection despite legal objections from Joe Exotic, who, as I understand it, is still in prison despite his own best efforts. Question for the panel. How do you feel about NFTs, this NFT, or NFTs in general? Alex Cutler, we'll start with you.
NFTs overall, I think that NFTs are really something special. I think that it generate a massive amount of revenue for those companies that have the power to produce it, from the likes of NBA with NBA Top Shot, and now we're seeing the Hall of Fame Village start to be incorporated with it with Dolphin Entertainment. So I think that NFTs are something special. It's like you're having a little piece of your favorite sports, your favorite artist. I think that again, it's something special. It's something for you to hold on and have the rights to if you have the crypto to buy it. So with the Joe Exotic situation and Jeff Lowe, I think that to be able to purchase into this NFT, it's kind of like not worth my time. I don't think that you would want to get involved into the kind of drama that you're going to see with Joe Exotic. Once he does get out of jail, he's going to try to take the rights away from you. But again, it is what it is. Entertainment is entertainment, and I don't know. I think that I probably wouldn't touch this NFT, but any other NFT, I'd definitely be more than happy to purchase, because why wouldn't you want to have a little piece of history?
All right, so bearish on Tiger King, bullish NFTs in general. Refined Warrior, what about you?
I can say about the whole situation with the two of them, I'm not a fan of either of them. I wouldn't touch that NFT. However, as far as the NFT whole situation is concerned, I'm pretty bullish on it, and it can be pretty lucrative. I will say from an environmental standpoint, you can argue that they do play a role in the whole like carbon emissions that they're given off to be used to buy and sell them. But I am very bullish on them, and I see them being like playing a big role in just giving a lot of these artists an ability to I guess generate more income for themselves, and for the customers to retain something that no one else can have a copy of. However, I'll just add this one last thing. I feel like initially, until they figure out a way to prevent the hacking or people creating like copies of something, you might see problems with people like pulling scams and trying to pull a fast one and then making money on that. So, but I am still bullish on it.
All right, points for thinking about the environment. Always appreciate that. Drew, Dyslexic Drew, thoughts on the Joe Exotic NFT or NFTs as a whole?
Yeah, so I'll start off with NFTs as a whole. I'm a huge fan of NFTs. Luckily, one of my friends called me up and said there's this website called NBA Top Shot. I checked it out. The next day, I dropped a lot of cash on an NFT. You know, I was one of the first people, or one of the earlier people. I would not going to say one of the first, but my account grew, and I was actually in the top 5% for a period of time on NBA Top Shot. So I love NFTs. I got in early, and I love that. But NFTs remind me so much of the 2017 shitcoin phase, right? If you remember that, everyone was doing an ICO. Everyone's saying, oh, I've got an idea for this. I got an idea for that. It doesn't matter. They were just getting money. It's the same thing happening here, right? Joe Exotic is probably one of the biggest fads, right? Don't invest in fads. Trade a fad, but don't invest in a fad, right? So I'm not going to touch it. This thing is going in the swamp. I don't know. Carol Baskin's probably going to, cover up his tracks when it's all done. I'm not a fan of it, but NFTs as a whole, I love it. When are concert tickets going to be NFTs? When is the title of my house going to be an NFT? I don't even have a house. I don't know what I'm talking about. But when is everything, going crypto, going digital? And it's so awesome. I think it's great technology, and this is just the start for the flip of a switch. But don't invest in fads. That's all I'm saying.
All right, Dyslexic Drew, early on. Points for being early on in the NFT game, or as he calls it, the FTN game. Options, Mike, let's go to you. Thoughts on this particular NFT or NFTs in general?
The fact that you're making me talk about the Tiger King on this show is just absolutely mind-boggling to me. You remember what happened to the SPACs when all the celebrities got involved? Yeah, they all suddenly started going down and they didn't even go up anymore. In fact, they're all struggling when they actually bring somebody on board. This is like jumping the shark on TV, right? You want nothing to do with this or anything associated with this man. Even if you've watched the series and you're a fan of it, stay away. I think Drew brought up a great idea, but if you go back and you look back at the blockchain names, remember when Bitcoin first came out and was going nuts, and just when it was about to come publicly traded through the options, right, not through futures? Well, look what happened to names like Riot and Mara and OSTK. By the way, OSTK was one of the few names to successfully implement blockchain and their own coin and actually pull it off and came roaring back. Not that Mara and Riot haven't come back, but there was a lot of pain. Who remembers the Long Island Iced Tea Company? Yeah, I remember they went blockchain at some point and said, we're the blockchain too. Yeah, not so good there. They've been delisted at this point, just to give you guys a little heads up there if you go looking for them after a name change. For me, this sector is a date it, don't own it, right? You date it, you don't marry it. You trade these names on a daily basis. You take maybe a little bit of risk if you like it overnight. But at some point, anything that goes up like this is going to come screaming down as well. Just look at what happened in the past. And that's what's going to happen here. If you love it, it eventually will come around. I think a lot of people here made some great comments. Eventually, this will become mainstream. But usually the initial wave is a euphoria, and you sell it, and then you wait to buy it back on the cheap.
Points to options, Mike, for the long blockchain company reference. We like that. We always like that. All right. At the end of, did I get to everyone? I did, right? Yes. Okay. At the end of round 2, here is our score. Round 1, excuse me. Dyslexic Drew with 8 options. Mike with 8. Refined Warrior with 7. Alex Cutler with 6. And unfortunately, it means Alex Cutler. Why is my clock going? Let's get my clock going. Alex Cutler is the first to go. Alex, do you have any final words for us? Any final thoughts? Any final words of wisdom or anti-wisdom?
Well, I got my butt whooped. Good job, guys. Nice to be the first. But hey, overall, just for everyone that's listening, just every single one of the people that are here is whatever resource for investing education. And we all do one thing and one thing only, is to make sure that when you're investing, like everyone says, don't get married to a stock. Invest and trade analytically. Don't be emotional. Don't just invest into something just because you think that you're going to miss out. More often than not, you're going to FOMO and you're going to lose money. Just invest, pay attention to the catalyst events, the current events, and just always pay attention to chart analysis. Just focus on the facts. Don't get emotional. Listen to your mind, not your heart.
And you know what? Can I call an audible?
Yeah.
Let me call an audible here. I'm being told from producer Mitch that I skipped a question.
Tesla.
False start, Spencer Israel. What am I doing? Negative.
I'm alive.
Negative points for me. Negative points for me. Negative points for your host. Let's go back to Tesla. All right, Alex, it's still alive, baby. Let's start with you. Tesla is expected to miss Wall Street's estimates for deliveries in the first quarter. So says Luke Ventures' Gene Munster, due to near-term headwinds. Give us your take on Tesla rest of year. Alex Cutler.
Tesla's Tesla. You can't really argue against Tesla and those that are investing into it. Tesla is a superpower overall. I understand that the deliveries, they won't be able to hit it because of multiple situations. Biggest thing is the semiconductor shortage. That's not only affecting themselves, but as well as many other companies. So I think that investors are going to be understanding of the delivery shortage, of not being able to hit expectations. But there's many other things that are going to be bringing into this company. Number one thing is the fact that they are officially starting to expand out their solar panel business, and all the other expansions, as well as the Gigafactory, are going to be completed officially in Texas, and many other expansion plans. So I think that Tesla's going to be absolutely fine. More investors are going to be coming into it. Earnings calls, we may see a minor pullback, like the current market that we are seeing. Whenever there's even a good earnings report, there's a drop. But I think that Tesla shares will continue to spike on fundamentals and continue to move, and we may see it hit $1,000 by the end of this year again. So I think that Tesla's really not going to be hit that hard by not hitting these current expectations, because again, investors will understand because of the semiconductor shortage.
Alex Cutler is looking past the current quarter, as all investors should do. Dyslexic Drew, thoughts on Tesla rest of year?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting year, right? We had all this COVID where people buying cars. I know personally, people that I knew, their lease ended and they didn't want to get a new car. They kind of held back. So it kind of makes sense, right? There's no rush to get a car. And Tesla had some weird things happen, right? They had some facelifts. They dropped the price on some EVs. So I don't know. I think Tesla's at an interesting spot right now. You know, they're about to update the Model S. So I'm not too worried about these deliveries, but we'll see what happens, right? They've got a big shoe to fill with their market cap being so large, One thing I will say is they have a lot of free money kind of coming in from the government with all their fuel credits, right? They're able to sell these to like Fiat Chrysler and Ford and GM that needs these credits. So they have some money coming in, right? I don't think cash is going to be an issue. You know, maybe they could do an offering. That'd be kind of wild. But yeah, I'm not too worried, but they got a big shoe to fill, right?
All right, points to Drew for valuation. Options, Mike. Thoughts on Tesla rest of year?
You know, Elon, you ever notice like everybody else comes out pretty quickly with their delivery numbers, and Elon, you just never know because he waits until he has his numbers, right? He may go to the final day of the month before he releases them if he has to. I'm not really sure why Tesla hasn't come out and said the chip shortage is affecting us. Every other major manufacturer has said it. Why not just come out and get ahead of it and just discuss it, be out there with it? Drew made a great point about the tax credits. There's one problem with these credits they're selling. That's their entire profit. If you look at their profitability, it's all coming from selling these tax credits. When are they going to actually start making good money on what they primarily do, which is they sell electric vehicles? And that's my one big concern. And my other big concern is as everybody else starts catching up and there's more competition out there, Tesla's going to start facing more of this and have to deal with this. And they're not going to be the lone guy out there. And we've talked about already Ford and GM. There's bigger guys out there to go after them. You know, if they get into the solar space, and, you know, we've been waiting for this forever, ever since Musk bought his other company, Solar City, maybe that goes. And I'm going to say this. I like Elon. I think he's brilliant. But maybe it's time for him to just become CEO of one company. Right now, he's CEO of Tesla. He's CEO of SpaceX. He has the Boring Company. Maybe it's time for him to just kind of go into one area. Oh, and maybe stop tweeting. We don't need any more SEC investigations. Oh, no, we already have another one going because of Dogecoin. So, you know, I like them. I think they stay flat for the rest of the year. You may get another pounce up or down, but I think competition starts to catch up. They've had a huge run, and valuation here is a problem.
All right, options, Mike. Calling out Elon, calling out the man himself. Last but not least, Refined Warrior. Thoughts on Tesla rest of year?
I'm going to have to agree with a lot of what was said. However, what I've come to see is never bet against Elon. I'm long Tesla. It's one of my forever stocks. And I feel like Elon is a brilliant person. He knows what he's doing. There's a reason why Tesla isn't with the automotive stocks. It's the tech stock. And, you know, they've missed certain expectations before. We'll see a pullback, but we've seen pullbacks before. They recover. I think long term, you'll see it hit at least the 1,000 by December, if not more. And you know, I'm not too concerned with, especially with the credit situation, Bitcoin and Tesla. I definitely am still bullish on Tesla, regardless of any pullbacks we'll see. And adding to what Alex said about the factory completion in Texas, I think we'll just continue to see Tesla grow and get stronger despite any of the hiccups along the way.
Refined Warrior took what Alex Cutler said and went a step further. He said 1,000, she said 1,000, if not more. Points for the bullishness.
Oh, come on.
Points for the bullishness. 1,000, if not more. That would be $300. I guess that's not too drastic a call in Tesla, knowing how this thing moves. But now it is the end of the round. Spencer, you buffoon. And unfortunately, Alex Cutler is for the second time tonight.
Why don't you just backhand me?
Right. It was a pleasure having you on, sir.
Thank you so much.
Oh, man. All right. Hey, we're rolling with it. We're rolling with it. All right. Segment number 2. Buy or, why is my clock running? Buy or sell. Let's talk about some buy or sells. I'm going to present some ideas. You're going to tell me if you buy or sell that idea. You like it, you don't like it. You agree, you disagree. Let's start with Miss Kathy Wood and ARKX, the space ETF from Kathy Wood. Would you buy or sell ARKX, Kathy Wood in space? Refined Warrior, start with you.
I'm pretty bullish on it. I think she's got some good picks in it. I will say some of them leave me a little bit wondering, but I think that, and I believe Ryan mentioned something earlier in the show that he had about how he thinks some of them are just filling up that space, but they'll eventually be replaced, like Netflix being one that left me going, excuse me, why that one? But I am bullish on it. I'm looking for a nice dip to get in it. But yeah, bullish.
All right, bullish, Kathy Wood and her actively managed space fund. What about you, Dyslexic Drew?
Yeah, so as a ETF, I like all the holdings, right? The top holding, or one of the top holdings, I believe, was Trimble, right? That's a stock that I think is going to do phenomenally well, especially with, we just talked about the new bill coming from our boy Joe Biden. So I think there's a lot of great holdings. As a space ETF, the holdings don't really make sense, right? We got Netflix, we got Nintendo. There's a lot of random stocks in there. But I think overall, it's going to do well. I think investing in space right now is a little bit too early, right? There's only one company that I'd ever buy right now in the space industry, and unfortunately, it's private, and that's SpaceX, right? So maybe if that SPACs to Bill Ackman SPAC, I'll buy that. But, Virgin Galactic, it's too wild, right? People doing space travel, I don't know, that seems a little bit far-fetched for me. But I think all the names in it sound really well, right? But as a space ETF, that's not really how it looks right now. I think it's way too early to start trying to invest in space in the publicly traded markets. But that's my personal take.
So all the names make sense, but it does not look like a space ETF. Not sure I'm buying that, Dr. Drew. What about you options, Mike? What do you think? Buy or sell ARKX?
I'm selling the hell out of it. I think Kathy just came back from the grave yesterday when Tesla went below 600 and got into this gap down around 560. And she's like, oh my God, here we go. We're coming back. Thank God. She was hot last year, right? She was incredible during the pandemic, but she's really cooled off and she keeps buying the same names and she likes to put the same names in every ETF. What is Deere doing in here? Are we going to terraform the moon and the rest of the world? We're going to go out in space and start terraforming everything? I just don't see the need for a space ETF right now. I think this is just way too early, as was mentioned. A lot of the names in here don't make a lot of sense to me. And sometimes you just do something for no reason whatsoever. There's some great names in here if you want to play them. Lockheed Martin, Boeing, great names you can play. Space, Virgin Atlantic, it's pre-revenue, right? But if you like to take a chance on something, you can take a small flyer on something like that. It's just, hey, maybe this one will take off if they ever get their plane up in the air and actually starts working. But for me, I think Kathy's just stepping too far here. You got JD and Baba. What are you investing in, Chinese spaceflight now? I just don't like it. I'm selling this thing. I'm actually selling Kathy at this point. I love her. I think she's done great, but she needs to change her tactics.
Wow. Pulling no punches options, Mike. Bearish, not just Kathy Wood, but bearish all of outer space. Which I didn't think that was a thing, but I guess it is. All right, at the end of Q1, in round 2, you can see our scores there. Options Mike, Refined Warrior with 12, Dyslexic Drew with 11. Question number 2. We just finished the end of the first quarter, as I mentioned at the top of the show. My question for you all, and we'll start with you options Mike. Q2, better or worse for the S&P 500 than Q1?
I don't care if it's better or worse, as long as the action is better. I don't care if we go up or go down. Well, let's just pick a direction and go there instead of going sideways forever. My gut instinct says we're going to get some type of dip, but it's going to be better. We're going to have a strong close going into the end of June as we go into summer. Q1 was just so tough, right? We had just a lot of sideways action, a lot of chop, but this market has been beyond resilient. So when you look at this market, it's had every reason to sell over the last couple of months. And what does it do? It just keeps coming back up. S&P, SPX, the cash index closed at an all-time high today. So, maybe you get some rotation. Maybe bonds finally start buying it back. I love bonds. The same people complaining about inflation's going up and interest rates are going up, they're the same people that are dumping bonds. Guess what, guys? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you sell bonds, the more the rates go up. So I think Q2 is definitely better, especially if we rotate back into tech and we see some big names like Apple and NVIDIA, some of these semis start participating. I think we get a nice roar, and we are entering into the big time of year. It's earnings season. We got about 10 days until we start earnings season.
Options Mike gets points for semantics. Better is subjective. Could mean lots of things. Could mean better performance or just better action. Refined Warrior, Q2, better or worse for the S&P 500 than the quarter we just finished?
I think it'll be better. We might, actually, I won't say we might. I definitely think we'll see some dips along the way, but I think that it'll definitely be better. I would say maybe like a 40 to 50% growth, and maybe Q1 20, 25%, but that's where I'm putting it. But definitely better, despite any pullbacks.
Better. I don't know if I call it those numbers. You gave a couple of them. But the bottom line there is better.
I think better. I think we'll see a growth of about 50%, 40 to 50% in Q2.
Wait, you think the S&P is going to rise 50%? Is that what you said?
An estimated, like a rounded growth.
Okay, I got you now. All right.
It made sense in my head. I'm just saying it's gonna be better, especially I think that we're gonna see tech come back and get stronger again.
Yeah, better is the bottom line. Dr. Drew, Dyslexic Drew, better or worse? S&P Q2 versus Q1.
Yeah, I think it's going to be better. I mean, you think about Q1, there was one word, I guess two, maybe, I don't know, I'm not good at counting. The 10-year, right? The 10-year spooked everyone. They're like, oh my God, we gotta redo these discounted cash flows, all these high growth companies. It doesn't make sense anymore, right? Everyone started selling, everyone panicked, so it didn't really make sense for a quick minute. But now everything's like, all right, like maybe we'll start buying again, right? A few of my favorite stocks saw almost double-digit returns today, right? So I think people, they forget things. They're going to forget about these interest rates. They're going to forget about yields. They're going to forget about inflation unless we really see some wild stuff happen, which, we haven't really seen too much stuff. So I think it's going to be a lot better. I think there's $1 trillion on the sideline still. There's a lot more money to come into the market, and people, they want to buy. As we saw, people want to buy, and with Q1 earnings coming out, I think they're going to actually be very strong.
Dyslexic Drew thinks we all have as poor memories as him. I'm about that. All right. Let's move on to question number 3, the final question in round 2. Saw a report today. Robinhood is apparently going to stop with the confetti when you buy a stock on their app. No more raining confetti when you buy a stock on a Robinhood. Agree or disagree? Buy or sell? Drew, we'll start with you.
Yeah, so I think any publicity is good publicity. So, if this just puts them in the headlines one more time, gets them a few more, 18-year-old traders to sign up, then good for them, right? This is not a big deal, right? The GME stuff is over. That was wild, but, there were a few other, brokerages with them. But Robinhood, they're going to see better days, right? They're going to go public soon. They're going to do well. This whole confetti thing, who cares, right? I opened my first brokerage account on Robinhood when I was 15 years old. I remember. I used my mom's social security number. That's a whole different story. But Robinhood, it's a great first investing, platform for young adults, right? That's the technical name. But yeah, I think Robinhood, I'm actually a fan of it. I think a lot of people shit on them. They say, oh, they're selling your execution. They're selling your orders to different execution firms. Like, who cares if you're going to be buying a stock for 10 years? If you're trying to trade, don't get me wrong. Do not invest or trade through Robinhood. But if you're just trying to buy a stock for the first time, it's easy. It looks nice. Confetti, keep it. Get rid of it. I really don't care. It's not a big deal.
All right, Drew gets the bonus points for identity fraud. Options, Mike. Let's go back to you. You care about confetti in Robinhood? Yes or no? You like this idea or decision, or do you not?
They have confetti, but maybe they should have strippers for either male or female coming out of a birthday cake. That might get a little bit more excitement into them. I don't know. I mean, I've never gone and buy or sold a stock because there's confetti or something special going on. I think they stopped trading because of it. Okay. They want to seem real, and I think that's the most important thing. You cannot sit there and stay like you are. You have to change your image, and this is just taking that step to changing your image. I'm selling it because I don't think it's important, but it does change their image.
All right, I like that. Everything you said makes sense. I'm about that. Refined Warrior, buy or sell? You care or not? Robinhood getting rid of confetti in their app.
I'm not a fan of Robinhood. I wouldn't use it. I could care less if they had the confetti or not, but I don't see a point in having the confetti. I think they need to change a lot to bring more users. So if making a change will bring more users, then great. as I said, I'm not a fan of Robinhood.
Gotta say, I did not expect this amount of vitriol on Robinhood. So what I thought was a rather fun question, but you all seem unenthused by my confetti question, which is fine. Okay, that's the end of the second round. There's our scoreboard up on the screen. You can see Dyslexic Drew and Options Mike with 17. Unfortunately, Refined Warrior coming up short, $16 to her name. Hopefully she has more in her trading account.
I do.
I would certainly hope. Any final thoughts for us?
No, thanks for having this. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
We enjoyed having you on as well. We'll have to get you back whenever the next time we do this show is, which who can really say? All right. Dyslexic Drew and Options Mike. 2 questions, 1 champion. Let's do this. First question. Better bet for the rest of the year. NFTs or SPACs? Options Mike.
2 men enter, 1 man leave. I'm going with SPACs, but specific SPACs. And I'm going to say this for a reason. NFTs, I think they're going to go up, and I think they're going to have a big come down again, and then you'll be able to buy them back a lot cheaper before the end of the year. SPACs, I think they had their run, but now you have to be very just picky about it. I think Drew brought up that Robinhood's going to IPO. There's a good chance they might actually try to go through a SPAC, and that could be a real winner if they do that. So you want to be picky here. You want to watch it. You could also watch names like CCIV. As they are getting closer to going into production, like a lot of the other EV names are still a year and a half away. FSR, for example, is still 18 months minimum away from producing their first car. These names, which have already come out, which are SPACs, they may fly. So I would go with SPACs. I'd be name specific. I'd do my research on them, but names like CCIV, Robinhood, if they go that way, these are the things you want to begin. Oh, WeWork? No, it's not. I want nothing to do with WeWork. 37% of the office space in New York City is available. What's WeWork going to do? Give this out away for free? So I'm going to go SPACs here.
All right. I guess I'll take over. I think, there definitely are some good SPACs out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of PSTH right now. I think it's pretty reasonably priced. But I think NFTs still have a great room to run up, right? Look at the SPAC man himself, Chamath, right? He sold a lot of his positions, right? Is he going on to do other ventures? Sure. But, he was the SPAC man. If he's getting out, maybe I should too. I don't know. NFTs are just getting started, right? NBA Top Shot just raised $300-something million at a $2.3 billion valuation. This is just the start, right? We're seeing a lot of publicly traded companies try and get in with the hype. Who cares about that? There's a lot of big things coming, and I think that this technology is going to be flipped on its head. There's going to be a huge transformation, right? And it's really just the start in my eyes. So NFTs, let's see this run. Let's see this run.
All right, 3 points for option. Oh, my camera's off. 3 points for Options Mike for that, and we'll give Drew 2 points because YOLO. That's why. All right. Here's a headline I saw that caught my attention today. Miley Cyrus is teaming up with Cash App. They're going to give away $1 million in free stocks. I want you both to give your pitch for your favorite stock that Miley Cyrus and or Cash App should give you for free. Your favorite stock. Give me your pitch. Drew, start with you.
Yeah, I got to say Palantir, right? Peter Thiel. He's my guy. I love that man. It's just no competition, right? They are in an industry of their own. They're selling data to the government. I almost said government to the data. That would have been a true dyslexic move. But they're selling data to the government. They're selling data to corporations. They are in a field of their own. And yeah, are they a little bit highly priced right now? Sure. But I'm investing in them for the long term. I'm trying to get in with the dip that just happened. And I think this thing is going to literally 10x in the next 5 years, right? They have so much potential. I think it's a great kind of meme stock too, right? It has so much hype around it. So I think it would be great for Miley Cyrus and Cash App as well.
I'm told that Miley Cyrus is watching this show and she's listening to your pitches. And so give her your pitch. Options, Mike. Your favorite stock and why?
I could go like really wild here, like LAC or Vail, some lithium plays, which I think will be great. But if you're just getting started, you want a free stock, you got to go with something safe. So I'm going to say Apple. And, I know Apple sounds boring, but Apple is now about $25 off its high. It's just sitting above the 200-day moving average. Nothing's changed with this company. This company's still as good as it was if not even better when it was at 145. They're cash rich. They're hitting it on all cylinders. Why did they get hit last quarter? They didn't guide. Well, guess what? Half the S&P 500 hasn't issued guidance in the last year, so why should they get hit any harder than anybody else? They're a great stock. They have a huge dividend. They're constantly doing buybacks. You want a safe stock as your first purchase. So if Miley's going to give me a free stock, give me something that I can hold on to, can sit in. And this stock is probably going a lot higher. They like to do reverse splits. They do this for a reason. They want their investors, their people who use their products to be able to buy it, unlike Google or Amazon, who, those stocks are just ridiculous. You can't own them anymore. You have to just use options on them. So for me, give me some Apple. Hey, you can give me a free phone too, Miley. I'd really appreciate that.
All right, props, points for safety and points for the free phone, the double ask, the old double ask trick, options, Mike, points there. And I'm going to do a bonus question. I'm going to do a bonus question right now, and I'm going to do the inverse, okay? You just pitched a stock that you both love. Tell us about a stock that you really hate. I'm calling an audible right now. Tell us about a stock that you really hate for whatever reason and why. Drew, we'll start with you.
Ooh, that is a hard one. I don't know what I'm going to say here. Honestly, kind of not expecting this. I'll say US Steel because it was brought up. I think that's a company. Steel was huge and still has a lot of room to go, maybe. But, it's at an all-time high. Construction prices are an all-time high. What's going on with them? I don't really know. But I think if you're going to invest in commodities, invest in wood, invest in renewables, steel is something old. Carnegie, he was a robber baron back in his day. We're seeing stuff go wild. All these new things come out. I'm not a big fan of U.S. Steel.
All right. I called the audible. Good props. Points for being quick on your feet. Dyslexic Drew. Nice job. Options, Mike. Give us a stock that you really, really hate.
Yeah, I'm going to go weird place here. I'm going to go with CCL, Carnival Cruises. Everybody loves these names. Everybody's like, oh, cruise ships are coming back. It's a reopening play. Got to get on the cruise ships. Not only do these guys get no stimulus money or no bailout money because they're not American companies, they have issued millions and millions of shares of stock to stay afloat, completely devaluing their actual net worth from where they were. So everybody's like, these names should roar back to the highs where they were pre-COVID. Their valuation's not the same. They don't have the same amount of stock. They have like 5 times more the amount of stock they had now. I don't have the number. I'm making it up. But they've been issuing stock left and right and center to stay afloat. But I can't figure out who the hell's buying it, right? If you issue stock to me, I wouldn't be buying it. And yes, they're going to get back in the water. Hopefully, probably within the next couple of months, we'll see cruises starting again. But you don't think you're going to see everybody flooding back. I don't think you're ever going to see, like within the next year or two, the same amount of cruises going on, the same amount of people full boats. So I think you sell the cruise ships, you stay away from them for now. And if somebody wanted to give me that stock, I would take it and sell it the next day for whatever I can get for it.
Carnival Cruise, of course, the owners of Diamond Princess Cruises, which is where this whole thing kind of started. So thanks a lot, Diamond Princess. Points to options, Mike, for not just hating the cruise lines, but like we all know, let's be honest, the cruise lines for like dumb spring breakers, right? Let's just be real about where
go to Florida,
where they stand in the pecking order. And on that note, that's gonna wrap it up for Around the Bell. It was a close one, but options, Mike, eked it out by a buck or a point, whatever you want to call it. Options, Mike, I'm going to give you the floor. Congratulations. You are our champion today. You have the floor to say whatever you want.
Thanks, guys. Love being on the show. Tremendous amount of fun. To my fellow competitors here, great cast, great bunch of people, great ideas. So I say this to you guys. A lot of people complaining, and Q1 was really, really tough, right? I want you all to go home tonight. I want you to think about this. Tomorrow is the start of a new day. It's a new week, new month, and a new quarter. Forget what happened this quarter. Put it beside you. Put it behind you. Move forward. Don't compare what you did to last quarter. Just move forward, no matter how bad or how good it was. Start over again, start fresh, get focused, and look for the setups, as this market is going to find its footing one way or the other and give better trades and better trade ideas. So however you're doing right now, I hope you're all well, you're staying healthy, stay COVID-free, and catch you next time on the show.
All right, options, Mike, saying to go home and think about your life, everyone. Think about your life, think about your trading, think about your quarter, and
or drink heavily.
Now, let me just, before we go, I'm just going to bring everyone back. I'm going to bring back Drew. I'm going to bring back Alex. going to bring back Refined Warrior. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. We did ask the chat if anyone had any questions. We got one question, and of course it was about GameStop. I'm going to open the floor.
No.
If you want to punt, you can punt. But if you have any thoughts on GameStop, the floor is yours. Whoever wants to start, if anybody.
It's not worth this. It's not worth where it is right now. Don't own it. Trade it.
Needs to die.
Yep.
Needs to die. Refined Warrior, do you have thoughts? Or
don't FOMO it. Just let it go.
Let it go. Don't FOMO it. Let it go. Drew?
I'll say I really like Ryan Cohen. When it was at $20, I was a huge fan. But
oh my god!
But listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at this price. I'm not touching it. I'm not trying to trade it. Options are way too expensive. There's no need to trade it. Look for the next thing. Don't worry about what happened yesterday. I really like what Options Mike said. Put everything behind you. Look forward.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our panelists, all of our viewers. Please remember, once again, I said this at the top, I'm going to say it again, all the information from this show meant to be used for entertainment purposes, not for investing or educational advice. Thanks to Dyslexic Drew, Options Mike, Refined Warrior, and Alex Cutler for spending about an hour with us tonight. We appreciate you. Smash that like button, please, everyone. That's how you tell YouTube that you like us. And we will have to get you guys back here on the show again soon. But thanks a lot for the time today.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.